do some journaling. And if you've been doing journaling a long time, probably nothing in this video is going to be really new to you, but it might be. But if you've never done journaling, or maybe you've struggled with coming up with a system that worked for you, you might get some helpful tips right now in this video. So, first off, when it comes to journaling, it doesn't matter what you use. You can use a bullet journal or just a plain, composition book. Those are always good. I do use a plain book for my journaling. Like, this is my journaling pages right there that I use. And, when I first got started, I was a little bit intimidated because I saw all these beautiful layouts for bullet journals, and I have chicken scratch, and it doesn't matter what I do, I cannot make my writing look pretty. So I got a little bit frustrated, but then through my research that I do, because I always research everything, I came across some like different methods of doing journaling, and I found a few things that worked for me. And then on top of it, if you are new around here, then you may not know this, but if you've been around me for a while, then you know that I absolutely am obsessed with neuroscience. And so I developed this actual framework of doing your journaling based on the neuroscience, based on our biology and the way our brains work. In addition to it, I have ADHD, which means focus is not always one of my easy things to be able to do. And so I have found that with this particular process, I'm actually able to journal pretty much every single day. I do fall off the wagon sometimes here and there, but a few years ago, or a couple years ago, I made a commitment to journal every single day, and I did it. And so I have my process. I know it works, and it's pretty easy. And that's what I'm going to do today, is share it with you. So first off, I want to make sure that you know that journaling is really like an opportunity to, kind of be there with yourself, right? It is a way that you can just be alone. And whenever you make time for journaling, it is showing yourself that you actually care about yourself. So it is one of the best and easiest ways to start practicing self-love, because if you take that time, even if it's just 2 minutes, right before you go to bed, which is often when I do it, although my 2 minutes usually ends up being 10 minutes or longer, depending on what the state of my mind is. But, just taking those 2 minutes to say, you know what, I commit to myself, I'm doing this. You are showing yourself that you love yourself enough to make these changes in your life. So that is one of the reasons why I start with journaling. And then I have a specific layout that I do, and it's not necessarily like, super designed or whatever. There's just an order in which that I attempt to do my journaling, and I found it works, and it's also backed by neuroscience. And so the first part of it is actually to understand that you cannot be in a state of gratitude and stressed at the same time. They are conflicting biological functions. And that's one of the reasons why you may have heard about, doing gratitude pages and writing your gratitudes and being thankful. I think it's probably why most religious traditions have carried on this, usually some sort of practice of gratitude. And it's because physiologically you get yourself into a better receptive state to be able to influence your body, because the way change works and the way our bodies learn, there are two different kinds of states. There's the stress state and the non-stress state. When you are in a stress state, anytime you learn something and you're in a stress state, anytime something reminds you of that, it's actually going to cause another stress state. So if, for example, you have tried affirmations in the past and they never really worked, and sometimes it made you feeling really frustrated or, agitated or whatever it was, it's probably because you were in a stress state. And so then the next time you were trying to do those affirmations, your body was like, oh, I need to be stressed because I'm doing affirmations. And so it kind of does a disservice if you don't get your body into a more balanced and unstressed state. And one of the quickest ways to do that is to be thankful. And so by writing I start out by writing a list of things that I'm thankful for. It's usually, 10 things, and it could be something as simple as I love Google because I do Google searches all the time, or I love my coffee because, coffee is good, right? Whatever it is, like you can pick things in your environment. You can, if you want to, you can challenge yourself to try to think of new things all the time, but, it's okay if you stick with the same things that you're thankful for, but just really, usually about 10, so that way you're getting your brain like out of that crazy stressed state. You may need more, especially if you haven't been having a journaling practice already. You may find that you might want to write like 20 things down first of things that you're thankful for. And you're going to start feeling your body kind of relax as you start thinking about things you're thankful for. And it is the quickest way to get yourself into a receptive state to learn new things. And in this self-love practice course that we're doing right now, part of what we want to do is get ourselves into that really relaxed, open state, so that way we can make some of the changes that are going to help us to, experience that self-love. So that is number one. Start with some gratitude. And then the next thing is, like I just kind of mentioned this already, so affirmations only work if you are in a receptive state of mind. So once you do your gratitude and you can feel, really start to feel thankful, like if you still feel really stressed out, you can, just keep going. But once you kind of feel your body start to relax, maybe you try, after you do your gratitudes, like bring your shoulders up, back and down, and kind of get your body into that actual physical state of being relaxed, then is the time to do the affirmations. Now, the reason why the affirmations are important during this process is because I have given you guys some journal prompts every single day, and some of them are going to be kind of deep, and they're going to be bringing up, most likely some, emotions there that may or may not be wanted. And what you are basically doing is creating a container of safety by doing this process. So first, by doing the gratitudes, you get yourself out of that stress state. And then by doing the affirmations, it's going to kind of create that little container for yourself, so that way you will feel safe enough to be able to write out your feelings without feeling overwhelmed. So that is the next thing, is the affirmations. And then kind of what I was talking about. So journaling is a form of self-support and self-love. It really is. Like by doing this, you're, as I said, you're kind of creating the stage and the container to be able to, give yourself the support that you need. You do not have to judge yourself. I recommend when you write, you don't worry about whether or not you make mistakes. If you make a mistake, just cross it off. But don't try to edit what you're writing. Just let it go, like you're talking to your friend, because that's kind of what journaling is. Like we have two parts of our mind. We have the very conscious part of our mind, and we have the subconscious part of our mind. And the way our subconscious part of our mind gets established, it's really when we are in our youth. And so the journaling, I knew my next slide was going to be talking about this, so I wanted to say this. So, and journaling is an opportunity to be the parent that you needed when you were a child. All right. So let me start. I'm doing this live so that way I won't edit it 5,000 times. Anyway, so journaling is an opportunity to be the parent that you needed when you were a child. So by doing those affirmations and providing the safe container, when you have these thoughts that are coming up, I don't want you to judge them. I want you to think of yourself as there's two parts to you. There's like your little child part, and then there's the big you part, right? That is the parent. So you get to be the parent and you get to be the child. Now, usually what happens with these journal prompts is that it's the little child that is talking to us. And that is the subconscious mind that is usually developed before the age of 7, but we are continually getting new information. And so our subconscious is still growing and changing and evolving based on the new information that we've received. So journaling provides this opportunity to basically parent yourself in the way that you've always needed. You can provide a safe place to be able to express whatever you're are feeling, and you don't have to worry about being judged or anything. You can just let it all out onto the pages, and whatever comes out it's what is needed to come out. And I do want to mention that if you do have a history of depression or severe anxiety or something that really, your emotions can sometimes cause a crippling state. Whenever you do journal, just make sure that you do have someone that you can call, or you have some sort of practice that you're able to use to be able to, support yourself in case your emotions start to go out of control. In this series, I'm be doing some simple embodiment exercises, so you can actually use those too, and some mindfulness practices. So whatever you have. Another thing too is if you really feel your emotions getting out of control and you're just feeling a little overwhelmed, I do suggest that you do take a deep breath in and a long breath out whenever you need to, because it's going to help you relax. And if you need to, you can always go back to writing your gratitude and say that you're thankful for being able to have a journal, thankful for the amount of time that you're able to spend, whatever it you need to do to bring yourself back to that relaxed state of being non-stressed, right? And then last but not least, as I mentioned before, I have ADD, and this is very big thing for people with ADHD. I usually say I have ADHD instead of I have ADHD, because I do not think that it is a disorder. It's just I have my brain works in a little bit different way. So there's an old Buddhist saying about like the monkey in your mind, and I think we've all experienced this, where it's like there's like a little monkey like chattering away and like bouncing all around, and when we're really super excited and stressed out, and when I say excited, I don't necessarily mean excited in a good way, just our body's actually activated and moving, in a stressed state, really is what I'm talking about with excited. And our mind just doesn't ever seem to want to be able to settle down. Then one of the things that you can do, either before you even get into your gratitude, like if you start writing your gratitude and you realize this is not working, then I highly suggest you stop, have a page, go to the next page in your journal, and I call them monkey pages, where it's just, you just are able to write out whatever is coming to your mind. Once again, don't judge it, just let it go. Whatever is coming out, it's because it needs to come out. It could be, that you're talking about the guy that cut you off and, on the street right before you got into your parking lot at home, or, your kids or your work, whatever it is. If there's something that is on your mind and is not letting you be in this relaxed state, then you need to get it out. And monkey pages are just an easy way to do that. Just freehand whatever you need to do. It can be 2 sentences. Sometimes just the act of starting the monkey pages really actually starts to help calm your mind, especially if once you've been journaling for a while. It's interesting because now I can actually just look at my journal and I get into a relaxed state, because I've spent so much time with my journal and doing this process that my body is like, oh, when we journal, we get into a relaxed state. So it's actually kind of pretty cool to be able to, it's important that you do have these exercises to be able to get that stress out of it. So the main, experience that you have with your journaling process is a very calm and relaxed state. So you can do the monkey pages at the end. You can do the monkey pages at the beginning. You can do the monkey pages in the middle. If something gets brought up even if you're writing your affirmations and all of a sudden your mind wanders off, start writing your monkey pages. It doesn't have to be pretty. As I said before, like my journal is not pretty by any means. It's basically a bunch of my chicken scratch all over the place. But I do, if you haven't been doing this, I really, really, really encourage you to take this opportunity to start this journaling practice. If anything, just do it for these 5 days. See how you feel about it at the end of the 5 days. Chances are you're going to see the benefits of it and you're going to want to continue it. Whether or not you continue it every single day, that is, up to you, and it's not, a requirement, right? But the more you do journal and the more you are able to create a safe container for you to express your feelings, the more comfortable and love you will start experiencing with yourself. All right, so I hope that gave you some tips, and I hope you're excited to get going on this whole process with this 5 days of self-love. If you are just finding this video through YouTube, you can sign up at the link in the description. All right.